Why did you come to teach at the festival?
You know, because I was invited, and I'm always go someplace to teach. I'm always playing some festival, and very nice to see young people and know what happens around. Yeah.
And so you like it so far?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Do you think that the student at the beginning of a lesson should always perform the entire piece?
You know, depends, you cannot tell, because somebody can, I allowed and asked to play to the end, somebody I interrupt much early. And besides how long is piece, you know, if they play hammer clavier, it's one story. If you play small Haydn sonata, maybe nice to play all piece.
Okay. And what do you do different when teaching in a master class than in a regular lesson?
Yeah, but this is very big difference, you know, because, I mean, I can tell almost the same when I'm teaching, but if you have master class, its name, you have the public. And I think I have to involve public. You know, I talk, but maybe I tell a little bit more story, you know, because it's supposed to be very interesting. I was some very famous people. I was maybe a couple of times master class teaching here, that's it. I mean, this is different art to make master class, you know, because people have to be interesting. Sometimes you involve them. Still you have public, you know, not like you sit in every note.
I see.
I like more master class, of course.
Do you think that you also learn something from your students?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure now. But before, I'm always tell young teachers, you know, you have to learn from students. And, you know, now it's different student when it was many years ago, because now people travel, people have listen everybody. When I grew up, I was in Russia, it was practically not so much. For example, it was not single recording of Dino Lipati. Nobody, it was like first one I listened when I came to America. Even nobody knew his name. And it was different, more teaching, you know, teaching very good. And, but here, you know, they travel, they know everybody crazy about competition too much. Потому что I think you have to learn a lot enough to go to play, you know, at least to have some level, not like try. And somebody who can, they travel more, who cannot stay this, you know, it's all different. Maybe not so strict, you know, like when you can really learn, because everything available.
Mm-hmm. I see. Do you have a memorable moment from teaching? Something that you remember that might happen like years ago?
You know, many.
You want to share maybe one?
Many, no, for example, when I was teaching Juilliard, and I was teaching in college, but somebody asked me to teach a girl who came from Canada. She was 6 years old, and I took her. Was very talented. 9, she played already Goldberg variation. And I play with her Mozart double, some like, you know, for piano. And but I had some very, very good students, of course, brilliant. And when I remember, for example, Rufus Choi, who now in Los Angeles, when I was in Zurich, he won the first prize in Korea. Many prizes they won, or like Rino Nuzamo in Italy won. Not only competition, but how they play. For example, I remember how she played Humoresque Schumann, and I love it. And somebody, he played like Lisanata, something in your head, or somebody who played very good Beethoven or what. Of course, you know, like my son said, all life he only have students, because I'm always teaching. And when I came to America, It was maybe my mistake because I had a very good manager from the beginning. Unfortunately, he died soon. And he said to me, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to teach. Because I was always wild, even I was a small girl. I was absolutely like boy. I don't know what I did. But I'm always like to teach. And I started to teach in Central School when I was 17 years old, when nobody could, they invite me. And I have very good students. Even now I can see these older people. I said, how are you pleased? Your school, because I love to teach. You can see, I love students, I love to teach, and it's very nice. We learn, they learn. Yeah.
Sounds wonderful. Do you think it's possible to predict the future of a student?
When I go back to this girl, when Mama was, of course, talking about, and I said, you can be wunderkind, you can do anything, but most important, how long, because many kids so talented and after nothing, coming. And I'm always said, most important when you're doing this long life, because this is important, not like you star and after you disappear. This many, of course, questions. First of all, they have to not only mama crazy in this, they love to have success, you have to love music. And you have to be hungry for new pieces, for new music. And if you have students, I think everybody has to learn all kinds of music, from Baroque to. But when you're adult or you have career, you can choose what I'm doing, this kind of music or this kind. But you have to try everything because we learn everything from all kinds.
Do you have a funny memory from teaching?
Fun?
Funny memory, something funny.
No, I had some memory. Somebody kick out, somebody opposite. Of course, you remember. But I'm not doing how to tell. I wrote book. It was I never wrote anything opus one. It was many years ago already. But I remember good and bad. I remember how I kick out somebody or somebody come to play good. Of course, I remember. I cannot tell I remember all my students because there were too many. But many, I remember what they play, and of course.
Do you have a favorite composer to teach?
I teach everything. Nobody knows I play this piece or not, because I even don't have music. I show everything. I know some teachers who prepare pieces before come to. I never prepare. I know what they play, because I don't know. Maybe I have I cannot tell about myself, talent for this. Nobody knows this. I never prepare, never this. But when I was younger, and I play concert, people call me from different cities, and Beethoven come, because I play always Beethoven. And for example, like Chopin, Mazurka, I started to play maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, because this you have to be completely comfortable with yourself. And I'm always remember was Earl Wild, maybe you know this very good pianist, composer. He make many transcriptions. You don't know him?
I don't know.
No, very famous. And he played concert. He was 80 years old, and he played something in Bach. No, maybe he forgot, or I don't know what. Even his wonderful ears. And backstage, somebody came to him and said, "Mr. Weil, what happens with Bach? What do you play?" He said, "I'm 80 years old when I play what I want," like this. And when I, sometimes, of course, you know, like nervous, my husband says, remember Earl, you go, you play. And you have to be completely relaxed and comfortable to play like mazurka, for example.
One last question maybe. Did you change your teaching over the years?
Yeah, maybe I start to be more patient. Maybe. But no, but look, I have so much experience. Of course, I teach maybe different way. And I'm maybe more comfortable in a master class or some, because I so comfortable with music. And I don't know, somebody like or doesn't like, it doesn't matter for me. When I can tell in somebody, if they absolutely don't have, you can see everything, I can start to tell story about music because they don't understand piano forte and all music. You can tell example, you can tell example in literature or something in life. You know, it's more coming better to some people. Somebody say forte, piano, this, it's enough because it's everything clear. But when you teach, you have to have some, not story, but you know, something to tell. What kind of music? Because not everybody gets. For example, we talk about Skorupinski, it's completely another world. Or somebody have no idea what to play, Beethoven or what, and yeah. And but in life, I don't have patience for anything. But I have patience to teach. But only if somebody, this time I'm old-fashioned, because if somebody does not have manners to listen, you know, you can have some, you know, young people with this, I just kick out, I cannot tell, because, you know, people have to, if you come, if you want to play, you have to be at least polite, you know, polite and this, and mostly 99%, of course, they're doing this, but somebody can be, because many kids have parents who tell, oh, you genius, you genius. If somebody doesn't behave good, auf Wiedersehen. You know, because you have to listen, you come, you listen, you're polite, and have to do anything, you know, like, yeah. Okay?
Thank you, Mrs. Yablonskaya. It was a very interesting
You're
interview.
welcome.